Don't you know no good? I know.
No good.
You know. No, no. No. All right. So 7.2. So this is going to be on page number 13. For all those people paying attention or not paying attention, you're on page 13. Because I know everyone has their earbuds away and, you know, your phone's not out because you're paying attention. I'm talking to you, Squirrel Stash. So 7.2, linear functions and their graph. Graphing using intercepts. So this is important. All equations of the form ax plus by equals c are straight lines when graphed, and as long as a and b are not both zeros, are called linear equations in two variables. Okay? Can't both be zeros. Okay? So, right here, to locate the x-intercept, set y equals 0 and solve for the x. Next one, to do the y-intercept, set x equal to 0 and solve the equation for y. Now, all this stuff right here, stuff you should have learned back in Algebra 3, 4, or Algebra 1, 2. I am not going to get mad at you if it's something you don't know. I'm not going to get upset with you because you're playing with your phone. Actually, yes, I will. But I'm not going to teach you as if I expect you to already know this. So I'm going to teach you as if you've never seen this before. So I would like you guys to make sure you are following along, are paying attention, and asking questions, because again, I don't know who your last year's teacher was, but if you didn't learn it then, now's the time to learn it. So, it actually wasn't Mars at first. I was trying to not call on Mars. I called on Squirrel Stash first, and then Mars just didn't pay attention. All right, so right here. So we're going to go to this example, and it says graph this right here. Okay, graph using intercepts. It's important. So using intercepts, you start by doing this. We have an x and we have a y. So I'm going to start with my x being 0, and then I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to say my y is equal to 0. So I'm going to evaluate my function. That means I'm going to plug in a value for my variable and then go from there. So 3 parentheses, I'm replacing x with 0 plus 2y equals 6. Right? So anything times 0 is? 0. So anything times 0 is? 0. No matter what I times, when I multiply by 0, it becomes 0. So now that goes away, so I'm left with 2y equals 6. Now, the 2 is multiplying by the y. So what is the opposite of multiplication? So division. So I'm going to divide both sides of this equation by 2, because I want to get that y by itself. And so y is, very good, y is 3. So that's my first ordered pair. That's my first coordinate that I'm going to use. And since I have that opportunity to change colors to make it all color coordinated and make it pretty, I'm going to do that. Not that color, because I don't like that color. That color. So now I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to replace the y with 0. 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 6. So 3x, bring that down. And anything times 0 is? 0. So that's going away, and bring down my equals 6. Now again, 3 is multiplying by the x. So undo my multiplication, I divide both sides by? Very good. So x is, there you go. So there's my other point. So we have 2 points here. And we're going to graph this now. We're going to graph this now on the next page. So you guys have a lot more area than I have. So I'm going to go to the next one. So 0, 3, and 2, 0. There you go. So now we have a graph. I put a graph on the notes for you so you can put these on there. So I'm going to go and I'm going to find the ordered pair. So 0, 3. So these are my x and my y. So my x value here and my y value there. So my x value is 0. So that's a left and right. So I move left and right how much? 0, right? 0. And then from 0 I go which way? Up how much? Very good. So, and I put my dot right there. Now, I'm going to do the same thing again, but I'm going to do it for the second one. So the second one starts off here at 2. Now, what am I going to go to the 2 with the 2? To the right. Go to the right 2, right? Now, do I go up or down? No. It goes up 0, right? So, right there. Now I have 2 dots. Now, through any 2 dots in a plane is exactly 1 line. So, I am going to draw an amazing, beautiful line. There we go. So people in the video don't need to know I used a yardstick to actually do that. All right, so now I have my line. You guys are able to graph it? Amazing line, right? ¿Está muy fácil? Sí, sí. Muy. Muy, muy. Questions over that? Questions, complaints, conspiracy theories? Yeah, go ahead. All right, this next one here, slope. Slope. Slope of line goes through the distinct points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and this is going to be the change in y over the change in x, or the rise over run. Now, the way I try to teach this all the time is, how do we read here in America? Which way? From left to right. Okay, how do we do our math in America? Left to right. Same thing goes here. So to be able to make this common all the time, so I always try to read left to right. So if I want to know if it's going to go up or down, I start with the run. That only goes to the right. So think of it as like Mario Brothers. Remember Super Mario Brothers? You know, the screen would only move to the right. It wouldn't move back to the left. The original one. Anyway, all right. And then the rise. That means the rise can go up, and it can also go down. So if it's rising down, now it's going to be a negative slope, right? And if it's rising up, that would be a positive slope. So if I want to know if it's going up or going down, just trying to imagine. There you go. Got little Mario Brothers right there with this crazy hat. So this guy is going which way? He's going up, isn't he? What? I don't think so, because, you know, swastika doesn't have like a head on it. What have you been smoking? Seriously. Dude. Anyway. All right, so now my formula is right here. So the common is referred to this as M. We commonly refer to that as M. M in my equations, in my formula, is referring to the slope. So if you see something like y equals mx plus b, that is a formula where m represents the slope, where it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where x2 minus x1 cannot equal 0. Why can I not have 0 in the bottom of a fraction? Can't divide by 0. It is, what's that word? Undefined. Very good. Undefined. Very good. All right, so now I'm going to go on to the next one so we can actually apply this. Right now it's just a whole bunch of words and people talking and someone complaining about my drawing skills. Now, I am going to label these, and I highly recommend you label them also. So this is my first point. So that's going to be x1, y1. That's my first point. So what do you think this other one's going to be? Very good. x2, y2. Because that's my second point. Now that I have them labeled, now I'm going to look at my formula, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I labeled my items before I even start. So I know where everything needs to go. So I plug it in exactly where it is to the formula here. And if I have a negative, I want to add it with a parenthesis so I don't lose it. Always add it with the parentheses. So now y2. Okay, so what is y from my second point?
4.
Very good. So 4 minus. What is y from my first point? Negative 1. And I'm going to add that using a parenthesis, so it looks like this. It did the same thing last time too. Negative 1, right there. So if you notice, it has parentheses, so I'm including the negative there, so I don't lose that. Fraction right there, and on the bottom. What is x from the second point? Very good. So negative 2, close, minus, what is x from the first point? Negative 3. There we go. Now, I'm going to do the math. So 4 minus negative 1, that's going to give me 5, very good, over negative 2 minus negative 3. Gives me positive 1. Now let's go and do it on the calculator. I'm going to do it on the calculator here. And right here. So I'm going to start this off. Since it is a fraction, I'm going to start it off as a fraction. How do I set up a fraction? Very good. Control divide. And it was 4 minus negative 1, right? Use parentheses. Minus negative 1, close. Make sure you use the negative. If you notice, there's a slight difference in these, right? The minus sign and negative sign are different. Over parentheses, what was that? Negative, so negative 3? Negative 2, very good. Close. Negative 3. So if you notice, this is exactly how I would have it here, not on my phone, because I am not playing with my phone and not. So, get my answer? 5. Now, what's the problem with actually me showing you guys how to do this right here? Do you have this calculator home?
No.
The calculator you do have at home is right here, though. That's why I'm going to show you. So, you did have it installed, right? Yes. Everyone, I set you guys all up. It's all installed. So, we're going to start with the fraction. Now, this one's slightly different to set up my fraction. I go math. So, basically, everything that you want to find is under the math button. See, notice up here on the very top, it says, I want fraction, right? That's where I'm going to go. And the fraction you're going to use all the time is number 1. Number 2 is a mixed number. That's a whole number and a fraction. That's like saying 2 and 1/3. That's what the U and D means. These other ones are going to convert between fraction and decimal, or a improper fraction to a mixed number. So you're probably not going to use those. So you will be using number 1. So I'm going to hit number 1. Now I have it set up. So let's go ahead, view, and so you guys can see this nice and big. So I'm going to do the same step. So it was 4 minus, right? Now my parentheses are right here. Negative 1. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Go down. Parentheses again. Negative 2. Close. Minus. There you go. Just like that, right? Yeah? And hit enter. There it is, my answer again. So you could do the same thing here, you just needed to know the steps to get there, right? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to let you guys work on the assignment. We're going to finish this off on, when did I see you again? Thursday. So I see you Thursday, and then from there, we're going to finish this up, and then you can turn this in for your assignment Monday. All right? So don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button, and support my channel. Buy stuff from my merch store.